Nice. Or maybe it will stick to hair. Without taking any off. Alrighty. So make sure I get this right. 0, no, 2, then 0. Does it look stick? Okay, good. Everybody's like, what? Are you guys live now? Should I be seeing something? Relax, relax. I'm working on it. Oh, shoot. I forgot my tea. Yes, we're live.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind Show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your host battled the forces.
There, man, I actually went through and took all of my mental power and all of my mental energy into creating that masterpiece of an intro for you guys tonight. So if you guys need a writer, I'm your guy. That's all I'm saying. So the reason I got to take tape off my mouth is because I just got a little slap on the wrist. Anthony here, you won't get to hear from him from another 7 days. So come back next Wednesday and maybe you'll get to hear from badge of honor, man. Badge of honor. It's all good. You know, I started thinking, man, we need to make like little get the actual badges, like, you know, like Boy Scout badges, and get them where we can like sew them onto our like jackets and shit. Like that would be so cool.
Yeah, it's been a rather interesting past 72 hours for us, that's for sure. I think if you want to kind of summarize like how the events of Sunday took place.
Yeah. So basically,
they kind of get the...
So we don't normally do live shows on Sundays, so that in and of itself was that was a different kind of thing because I don't know, man. We just decided that's a good day. We had a lot of people that were wanting to be on the show, so we just block scheduled a bunch of people and decided, okay, we're gonna knock them all out back to back to back. Turns out we only got one done that day, and barely at that. Any of you that follow the Facebook Minds group, the Facebook Unframed Minds group will already know that I put a post up just kind of detailing the events of the day and kind of what had happened. So if you want to check that out, feel free to head on over to that, and that'll give you more of the details. But just in summary, basically, we just struggled with technical difficulties the entire day. It was ridiculous. I mean, up to like literally 2 minutes before we were fixing to go start recording our first interview of the day, all of a sudden my internet connection goes out completely. Like I have no internet at my house, and I've got that
Which has never happened to us.
Well, yeah, and especially since I got the brand new fiber cable, man, it's not been an issue like at all. Like I've had really good internet connection. After that, as I'm calling, trying to figure out what the problem is, my phone's going out. You're losing signal on your cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot of, I mean, every single individual issue or technical difficulty could be explained away through whatever, you know, logical reasoning, you know.
Right, yeah.
So it wasn't like, I mean, I don't want to be like Mr. Conspiracy and to honestly to try to think that we're that big of a show or that important that the government's, you know, tapping our phone.
They got more important things.
Yeah,
to
I
worry
was like,
about.
by that logic, I mean, they've got way bigger fish to fry. So it could have been honestly just a series of unfortunate events that just totaled to total frustration. However, the silencing part that happened later,
the fallout from it.
yeah, the fallout from after the interview, Anthony, you got on and you posted, like your post just kind of said, this is what our show's about. We had Enrique Tarrio on our show, the chairman of the Proud Boys, you know, just to give a little bit more of the story behind the man, you know, just to you know, dig a deeper dive on what his past, his background is.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're texting me like, what the fuck, dude? I've been banned from Facebook for a week.
Yeah, I mean, to the point to where I can't even message people, and a lot of the contacts for the show that I talk, you know, people I talk to is on Facebook. So I'm getting messages, and I can't reply. So if people are messaging me on Facebook, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just quite simply I cannot reply. Every feature has been disabled on Facebook for me to use. So then, so all this happens. And then last night, I worked 12 hours. I went in at 7 o'clock, and just before I went in, I followed the link for the Twitter post that you made, and I seen the shitstorm that was going on there. So I decided to follow the thread. So as I did, now mind you, every time I've gotten on Twitter, it's always kept me logged in. So now I go to get on Twitter, and it's telling me that the username and password no longer exist.
Yeah, I tried clicking on it to go check your account and saw that it was just didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, I mean.
So I don't know. I haven't had the chance to see it from somebody else's perspective, but I have no access to Twitter now.
Yeah. So you'll see here in my profile for the main Unframe of Mind. By the way, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Unframe of Mind.
Yeah, a little promo plug.
I have you attached to that, co-host Anthony. Yeah. And when you click it, I get user not found. Like you don't exist. You're gone. Oh. And you haven't really used the account in a while, have you?
No, I hadn't been on there because of a lot of the, you know, family and personal things that I've been dealing with, you know, as far as, you know, when I lost my stepdad, and then just a lot of family events have been going on. I just haven't been really active on Twitter at all. So I go to get on there to kind of get back in the swing of things, and then I see the post that you know, the tweet that you had made, and I was just kind of like, okay, all right, well,
yeah,
I don't know.
that was a whole nother shitstorm based on the fallout from that interview, because we had somebody by the name of Samantha, interacting in the comments during that live stream,
right?
And then it got carried over to Twitter, and she's I posted her Proud Boys hate map on my Twitter feed and asked, hey, are the Proud Boys really a group of hate? You be the judge. And now I've got a bunch of people on my Twitter feed like reaming my ass, and some of them are even, you know, somebody sent me a picture of our shop on our website, asking if that's how we're making our money.
Shop.
Yeah, where I have the T-shirt sales.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no, not really. Most of the shirts we sell are all in person. So I guess they dropped that. But you know, I know one of the tactics of the left is to continue to attack your source of income. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe it might have been just harmless. I mean, I don't want to assume malice, you know, without having any kind of proof of that. Seems like the interactions I've had with Samantha in the DMs have been friendly. I think we're talking about doing some kind of a show, a collab of some sort. I'd like to have her on at some point to get her side of the story,
right?
Because this is my theory that's been running the entire show. We've been discussing this quite a bit. Is that both sides, I think, by themselves are usually pretty reasonable people. It's just when they get together and the ideologies clash, all of a sudden you can't hear the other side at all. And I think if I can get her on the show and we can talk to her, we might kind of get a little better understanding where she's coming from.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to make judgments whether she's right or wrong, or whether Enrique is right or wrong or anything like that. I'm just trying to get to know the people and humanize the people that the other side, the other group are always attacking.
Right.
You know, I think if that's something we can do, if we can actually humanize the people that we're claiming as our enemies, that
It'd
maybe
be-
we'll,
well, it
we'll
just-
understand that we're not quite so different. So
it
maybe
would be nice if we can start engaging from the other side. It would be beneficial for everyone if we can get both people to sit down. And
Right.
Ricky's already sat down with us and kind of gave us his life story and of course, the situations with Portland and, his
Yeah,
involvement
yeah.
with the Proud Boys.
and he said
So-
he's down to have a discussion with Samantha. You
Right.
know, the three of us.
So it's just, if Samantha's watching or listening, we hope that she takes that opportunity to sit down with us and discuss things with us. If she's gone back and seen any kind of previous shows, we're pretty easy to get along with for the most part, and I don't see why she couldn't come on the show and just have a civil debate about the Proud Boys.
Yeah, or
It's
just-
just out of curiosity to
Yeah.
understand where she's coming from with everything that she's.
Yeah,
that
I
she
figure the
believes
best
in.
way to do it is to start with it.
So-
Start with a conversation. Talk to her as just like we did with Enrique.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Talk to her, get to know her. Who,
Yeah.
what's her story? What does she like to do? What is
Right.
she? What's her family like, or what's her background like, etc. Whatever she's willing to share, we'll talk about, and then we can get into the Proud Boy stuff a little bit, and then end up eventually doing like a moderated discussion or like a Q&A, like Enrique mentioned, between all of us, and just kind of see if we can find some common ground.
Well, we got to crawl before we walk.
Yeah,
but
right,
just to
right.
get her on the show and to talk to her one-on-one, is kind of ideally what we want to do. So we're going to put the pressure on you, Samantha, is to come on the show, reach out to us, and we'd love to have you on and
her
talk to you.
Yeah,
so.
her and I are already talking.
Oh,
I
okay,
think,
okay.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
already
yeah.
talking in the Twitter DM. So, check this out though. It's funny you mentioned about. I'm going to make this. I just got to word it better because Anyway, I wrote earlier. Know how to make the elites' buttholes pucker. Have the Proud Boys and Antifa realize how similar they are and join forces.
I don't see.
Like, especially in its current form.
Both of us aren't racist. Both of us aren't this, that, and the other. So it's, it's.
Yeah, both of us want more freedom, more liberty.
I think at the end of the day, if the Proud Boys and Antifa ever get along, it's going to be. I don't think it ever will, to be honest with you. But in the event that Antifa and the Proud Boys can seem to coexist on certain conversations, I would like to see that. Maybe it might settle tensions between the two groups for the time being. I don't think it'll ever stop. I just think that maybe everybody kind of needs to take a little breather and maybe understand each other's side a little bit better. It's kind of, what we hope for, at least, in the gist of it.
Now let's talk because the left, Antifa, Samantha, Enrique, none of them individually had anything to do with your particular banning. This is Facebook now. Let's redirect our attention now to Facebook's role in all of this and how.
Okay.
I'm sitting here thinking, okay, we're wanting to have a conversation with these different sides.
Right.
We're wanting to try to calm tensions. If we post on Facebook about one side or the other, Facebook says, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So even if we manage getting the people to talk to each other, even if we manage everything we're trying to strive for here, and there's no incentive for us to post about it on Facebook because they're just going to block us. Otherwise, we can do it, but we got to use like code language to do it.
Well, here's the thing. So Myra has sent the screenshots into the Facebook group page. I can't post anything directly on my Facebook page, so I can't really show everybody what's going on because I have a lot of people that contact me through Facebook. So the last couple of, within the last 24 hours, it's unlike me not to respond back. So those individuals are probably thinking, okay, well, have I done something to piss him off? No, you haven't done anything to piss me off. I just can't respond back to you.
Does it still show your little chat head bubble move down like you checked it? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Like when you check your messages?
When I check my messages,
are you on Messenger? Are you also blocked and not able to communicate?
Yeah, I can't communicate with anybody. Look down here.
Oh, so it's okay. So it's not showing your. Well, I don't know if it's showing your face going down or not. Because that's even more messed up that it shows that you checked them and then didn't
right
respond.
here.
People get pissed off about that.
I sent a buddy of mine an email, and he responded back, and I said thanks, and it says message could not be sent. Have for details. It says you can't send message right now. You are temporarily restricted from sending messages or making calls. Learn more about this, and
right.
what. Yeah. So basically,
I just sent you a message on there. I'm just curious. Go ahead and check the message I sent. I want to see if it drops your little chat head on down. Yep, that's messed up, man.
So basically,
that's messed up. So they'll allow your little chat head to drop and show that you've checked the message.
But now it looks like I'm ignoring people.
Right. It makes it look like
you're
ignoring people.
So for 7 days, people are going to get pissed off at me because I'm not responding back that don't know what's currently going on.
The least they could do as far as programming goes is make sure your little chat head don't drop down and show that you have read the messages.
Right.
So people get mad when you leave them on red, you know?
So I do a lot of, I deal and I do a lot of business on Facebook. So with that being said, when my icon drops down, and like you just mentioned, that people are going to start thinking that I'm ignoring them, and that's not the case. So what I hope is that if people can share this video, if it's on YouTube, Periscope, wherever, I don't know how that's going to work with Twitter because I no longer have an account. I have received no notification. I have nothing. The only thing I know is that when you sent the link over the Proud Boys tweet that you put out, I followed that, and as soon as I followed it, it normally logs me in right away. Yep. So when it logs me in, I can go ahead and I can just post a tweet or whatever. It asks me to sign in. So when I go to put in my email and my password, it says, this account doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. I'm not real familiar with Twitter, so I don't know what the protocol is as far as how they go about banning somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not been banned before. Somehow, I don't know how that's possible. But
I would think that it would kind of fall like within the realms of Facebook, where they would kind of slap you on the wrist and give you a little warning. I got nothing.
Yeah,
I got absolutely nothing.
Not
from
even
that.
an email or anything.
No email. No, I checked my email. I've checked it over and I checked it again when I got up because you got to remember I work nights.
What happens if you go back in and try to re-register on Twitter using that username? Maybe it's because if there's no user found, maybe that name's available now. Maybe they just...
I have not, because I worked 12 hours last night, and when all this shit, and I started to figure out what was going on, I was literally walking into work. And then I sent a message to you and Enrique, and I'm like, I'm just going to have to figure this out when I go to break. And even then, I didn't have time because it takes a little while to kind of dive into that whole situation to find out what's going on. So going back to Facebook, I basically shared the flyer to promote the Sunday show. And...
yeah, that was literally all you did.
For the ones that have not...
you shared the flyer, and Facebook said, we don't like this flyer.
So for the ones that don't know what I'm talking about, this is the post that I made. It says, one of our biggest interviews to date. We're only reaching higher and higher. Nothing will stop us, not social media. I thought that was kind of ironic. And not the mainstream media. We know all eyes will be on us tomorrow, and that's all right. Good night, Facebook fam. That's all I said. That was, I don't know if you can see that, but that was...
I have to hold it a little closer, but...
that was all I said, and then that ended up getting me... I don't know if it'll get the focus or not, but...
we'll find out. Yep, there it is. Ooh, yeah.
So that right there ended up getting me 7 days, and I have no communication with anybody on Facebook to be able to schedule people to be on the show, and... so that's all it was, and I have not received any kind. Now, okay, let me back up for a second. So I went to go dispute it, and within minutes, Facebook responded back and said, "No, this goes against our community standards."
Yeah.
So it was like almost kind of
that post
a bot system that was just going ahead and just made its own mind.
If I remember right, that post was up for a little while before it ever got taken down, didn't it?
It didn't get taken down until after the interview. It was literally 24 hours after we did the show with Enrique.
That tells me that it's possible that somebody reported it then.
Well, I thought the same thing too, but here's the thing is that when you go to report it, when you go to dispute it, it usually goes into review for 24 hours. I was doing some research on that. But when you go to dispute it and Facebook automatically turn around and denies that, that tells me that's the algorithms within Facebook that is flagging that, I guess, specific photo, or I guess whatever it was that I said in that, in that post when I shared it.
I just didn't know if maybe, because that was before we turned the group private, and maybe somebody shared it out and the wrong person saw it.
Either way,
whatever.
I don't really care. There was even if some so
You're
even
probably-
if somebody
you're probably right. I don't know.
even if somebody flagged it or reported it, what do they report it for? It's not hate speech. It's not a crime. Nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah, there's no nudity.
I went back in and I really kind of dug deep into the Facebook community standards. There is nothing that I found that would even suggest.
There are 3 sexy ass dudes on that flyer.
Well,
though,
this
so
is true.
That's probably
This is
what
true.
happened. It was too hot for social media.
So, anyways, long story short, there's nothing in their community standards that this would fall under. So it begs the question: why did they censor me? What was it for? And that is the one thing that I'm having. It's kind of irritating me. Is
Well,
that
based on what we know, based on what we've learned in terms of, say, like Project Veritas and their undercover investigations,
Right.
we already know. I mean, we're not dumb. We pretty much know why it got banned. We expected it.
we
It's just
knew
the fact.
this.
It's just the fact that they have these community standards. It's written out in plain text, but what we did doesn't actually fall under any of that. Like, they're not applying them equally.
Well, when somebody said, Facebook, their algorithms based off of context words and pictures that are posted onto social media. First of all, if you look at the flyer, it's distorted. You can't really tell that it's Enrique. It's not a clear image for them to even say that it is otherwise.
Oh yeah, because it's not the
No,
original.
It's not the original
I took
photo.
it and posterized it and
Right.
made it part of a
So-
graphic. Yeah.
Now, on to the second point of this is the live video still up. The live video has not been pulled.
Yeah, and the
It's
same
got his name.
right. The same words were used: Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio.
Right. It's not pulled. So
That's
that,
interesting. I don't know.
anyways,
interesting.
so I just thought that was kind of, to kind of put that out there. So
That would be further evidence to suggest that it's not an algorithmic thing then, because an algorithm would have wiped all of it.
it would have, it would have
Because
flagged
the
everything.
Word, yeah, the
Be-
word Proud Boys or whatever it is would have flagged it. So
But
that leads me to believe maybe there's somebody flagged it. And
But if somebody flagged it, what did they put it under?
Right.
Because it wasn't hate speech.
yeah, I
It
don't
wasn't
know.
harmful. It wasn't inciting violence. It was a flyer to have a discussion
God, that
with
sucks,
Enrique.
man.
So
I just wish it was more clear so you could be like, I mean, because what
I
happens?
just wanted an answer from Facebook. I want to know what exactly, what it was as they flagged it for.
So here's what happens is since they're not clear about it, since it's not set in stone and cut and dry.
Right.
Well, that prompts you to then send somebody else a message to post on your behalf saying, "Well, fine, we're just not going to like pre-announce any of our guests from this point forward."
Yeah.
It's like that Damocles sword. Like, okay, well, I don't know why I got banned. I'm kind of leaning on this platform a little bit to get my message out. So therefore, I'm going to take extra precautions that I normally would to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Well, no, I'm still going to promote the show. I just have to be a little bit more creative with the content
Yeah.
that I share, which is fine because I'm usually pretty good at that. But on the flip side to it is, I think now moving forward, because there was a lot of eyes and attention that was brought to the show that we did Sunday with Enrique, and because it was live, we have also noticed too that currently tonight we're unable to stream live on Facebook.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that in the midst of everything. Yeah.
So we're not sure what's
check-
going on there.
Yeah, I can actually show you guys this here. I head over to Restream.io is our streaming platform where we get to stream out to all sorts of platforms. Well, over here on Facebook, I turned on my own personal page and our Unframe of Mind page, and it's still stuck on sending data. Like, it's not allowing it to go through.
Don't you find that a little interesting? I mean,
Yeah, that
just-
is interesting because we've never had any trouble with this platform. We go live, and then all I do is come over here and click the chat bubble so I can see what what y'all are talking about, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know. That's
It's rather interesting.
a lot of weird stuff going on. A lot of things that are just like not out and out saying, "Hey, you got your post shut down because this, and now we're gonna shut you down for 7 days as a punishment because this, and we're also gonna not allow you to stream videos for this amount of time. Like, there's no like cut and dry variables that we can work with that we can say, oh, okay, so that's what we did wrong. We'll make sure not to do that again. Like
Well,
it's
no,
like
I
mommy and it's like
understand.
daddy just walking home from work and just yelling at you for no reason because he had a shitty day. That's what
Right.
it feels like. It's
Yeah.
like, what did I do?
Well, and this
turns out
is-
you didn't really do anything wrong.
And this is something that we kind of stress to people, and is, the more people share our content, the harder it is for Facebook to shut it down, because more people are getting exposed to it. And then when that audience becomes so big, and then everybody is seeing that it's being shut down, that creates a controversy. And that is kind of what Diamond and Silk went through. And, and then the next thing you know, Mark Zuckerberg is before Congress wanting to know why conservatives are being censored. I mean, we heard about
Mark Zuckerberg's not wanting to know why.
Well, no,
He's being questioned
Congress.
why.
Yes, I'm sorry. He was being questioned as to why, but we heard about it. We saw, Zuckerberg having to testify before Congress.
A Congress that had no freaking idea what they were talking about.
No, and the only person that even seemed to have the least bit knowledge was
like-
Senator Graham and
It was
and
like a
Ted
bunch of old
Cruz.
geezers
So-
going, show me again how to use this TikTok thing here.
Well, Senator
mean,
Graham
like-
and Cruz were probably the only ones that were actually knowledgeable on this.
Yeah.
When they spoke to Mark Zuckerberg. But at the same time, too, it's now we're showing the people that interact with this on a daily basis is now starting to see it firsthand what we're going through.
Meanwhile, right before that show, or right before, yeah, I call it a show, but it kind of was, right before Zuckerberg testifies before Congress, an hour before the actual meeting, you had a big bunch of guys sitting around a table with Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg's like, listen, I'll continue to block conservatives and dissenting opinions. You guys just pretend to be stupid and don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, Wonder Twins powers activate. Yeah. And they get on in there and do their thing.
Jeez. Well, it's unfortunate that these are the current times and then the world that we live in right now. And and I've talked to Enrique a little bit about what's been going on, and he just said it's a part of it. Now, we're not one to ever place blame on anybody, but we're very thankful we did the show with him.
Yeah.
We will never say otherwise. It's very unfortunate because of our interview with Enrique, it shut us down.
It was a great
So,
interview. I
yeah.
mean, it was a good conversation.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know who this guy was. Like
Right.
I've heard of him because of news reports. I've never met him.
Right.
So we like normal with all of our interviews, we're like, hey, let's talk to this guy,
Get to know him.
get to
and-
know him, see what he's about, make our own judgments about how we feel about him.
Right.
And we'll go from there. And then if somebody else has a dissenting opinion about what he had to say, come on the show. We'll talk about it. We've never not welcomed somebody on the show.
Right.
Like I've only had one guest that I did not allow to come on the show because the subject matter was I wasn't down for that. I actually struggled with that one, but that's a whole nother topic. But
Right.
I don't want to get into that here. That
So-
was one I actually had to go and consult with my family, friends, and get, because I was stuck. I didn't know which way to go on it. It was
Really?
one of those. Yeah,
I
that's
kind of
only-
wonder what it is
it's,
now.
It's only happened once.
We'll pressure Daniel and
Well,
everybody
if-
else to find out what it was.
if you want to know, you can DM me. I'll tell you. But it's just I don't want to make it a big thing.
Right.
I don't want to draw attention to that particular subject. But anyway, so is there anything else you wanted to touch on that particular subject before we move into?
No, just don't make any more memes about me.
Yeah. So I wanted to.
I'm open and honest about it, dude. I mean, hell, I might as well, I mean, it's out there. Hell, the world knew about it for 2 hours, so.
Oh shit.
But
Well, the one thing I wanted to cover was something that came up in our Facebook group a couple of weeks ago that we're just now having a chance to get around to it.
right.
It's about the fact that when you do a search for certain terms on Google versus when you do certain searches, the same searches
Boy, say that fast 5 times.
on DuckDuckGo. Fortunately, I didn't stutter through that. I
Yeah.
was really impressed with myself right there. Pat me on the back, please. Give me the attaboy.
Attaboy.
Thank you. So basically, this is what I want to do. I've written down a bunch of terms that I wanted to double check. We already had a few come up that it seemed like as we were searching them, the information was changing or it was showing up different for different people depending on who searched for it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up two different windows. One's going to be DuckDuckGo and one is going to be Google.com. So
Yeah, I'll get all trusty Google.
Google.com. I haven't been to this search engine in so long. And then we'll make sure we're on the DuckDuckGo search engine, which I have that as my default, so that would have worked, but I just want to make sure that you guys see it, that that's in fact where I'm searching. So let me move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. We don't need that. Okay, Google and DuckDuckGo. This is the competition we've got. DuckDuckGo. All right, two search engines. You know, I tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do actually.
Can you do side by side?
That's what
Split screen.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do side by side, split screen, so we can see them both in real time. And yeah, I like that much better. All right, I like that way better. I've got so much windows open. Y'all, I don't think you understand the amount of work that I do. Like, I'm surprised I've only got 2 tabs open right now. It's ridiculous. All right, so the first term I wanted to look up was Patriot. That's the one that I think was discussed before.
Yeah, it was.
Patriot on DuckDuckGo. All right.
Well, obviously we're gonna pull the first search that it brings up because those are the two that.
All right, on Google. Oh, it's even. All right, so it looks like even this one's changed since we looked at it in our Facebook chat. So on Google, a patriot is a noun, a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Synonyms are nationalist, loyalist. Oh, what's this more? Oh, there they are.
Oh, they try to hide it.
Oh, that was different. Last time I clicked on the button and then it showed all of them. Now this one here, I'm having to click to show more. That's interesting. They're hiding the other terms are chauvinist, jingoist, jingo. I don't even know what the hell that is. Flag waver, isolationist, xenophobe. Antonyms are traitor. So there's that one. And then if we look over here on DuckDuckGo, we get Merriam-Webster's version. Which version is this is from Oxford. I have learned over time I tend to prefer Merriam-Webster's. They seem to be more consistent over time
Right.
in their definitions. Oxford seems to be a very left-leaning dictionary, if that makes any sense. I've noticed a lot of terms are very new and updated and very PC in some of them.
All right, is everybody able to see this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we got. Yeah,
All right,
that's
cool.
what everybody's seeing right there.
All right.
That's what everybody's seeing.
So go ahead and open it for DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo. First result: patriot, one who loves and supports his or her country, and then it just gives uses it in a sentence. That's it. Doesn't try
Okay,
to
go
doesn't
down
try to
where it
offer a
says
bunch of
yeah,
synonyms. Synonyms is loyalist.
that's all it gives.
That's it. Visit the thesaurus for more. All right, so if I go over to thesaurus on Patriot, we've got, oh, look at this. Interesting. Chauvinist, flag waver, jingoist again, nationalist, super patriot, compatriot, countryman. Nothing about xenophobe.
Nope.
Interesting.
Hmm.
All right, so there's our first term.
So what do you think about that?
And I think we're just going to
Stark difference or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've based on some of the other screenshots I've seen, they've actually watered it down from what it was.
So when you hear the Proud Boy say Western chauvinist, you're hearing Western patriot. You know what I'm saying? That's the big misconstrued, I guess, word that is used when it comes to that term.
Hey, let's just for shits and giggles, let's try that one. Let's go back to DuckDuckGo here. So let's try chauvinist for Google and I'm just curious what they say on this one. So on chauvinist for Google again says a person displaying aggressive or exaggerated patriotism, showing or relating to excessive or prejudiced loyalty or support for a particular group or cause. Okay.
Wow, did you happen to read down?
No, I'm still working on that. Oh, a chauvinist. Synonyms for chauvinist is jingoist, chauvinistic. Chauvinistic is not a synonym of chauvinist. It's a variation on the word, dipshits. Excessively patriotic, excessively nationalistic, sectarian, isolationist, flag-waving, xenophobic, racist, racialist, ethnocentric. Oh, more. Partisan, partial, prejudiced, biased, discriminated, discriminatory, intolerant, bigoted, sexist. Oh my God!
Holy shit!
Boy, they just they said let's take the PC dictionary and just throw it all in here. Just
Okay,
every word we can think of.
What does DuckDuckGo have to say about it?
So chauvinism comes up as the first definition: militant devotion to and glorification of one's country, fanatical patriotism. Prejudiced belief in the superiority of one's own gender, group, or kind. Okay, and this is all from Wordnik. I've never heard of that. From the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition. Out of curiosity.
What are the synonyms for it?
Well, I'm going to look at the like we did before. This first result that came up, which is Merriam-Webster's again. An attitude of superiority toward members of the opposite sex. That's a male chauvinist. That's just incorrect. Okay, so that would be specifically a male chauvinist, not a chauvinist. That's not a definition.
Yep.
So undue partiality or attachment to a group or place in which one belongs or has belonged. Regional chauvinism. Excessive or blind patriotism. Synonyms. There it is. That's what I want to see. Jingoism, nationalism, super patriotism. And the more is loyalty, patriotism, nativism, xenophobia. Now, xenophobia actually does somewhat fit for this one here, but I would not say racist or racialist does.
Words related to chauvinism compared to what you see on Google that is a huge difference.
Yeah, this is
crazy.
This is interesting that we live in a world now today where even the definitions we use of words when we're in these like discussions really matters where you get your definitions from. Like if I'm just going to go Google a definition and I see this, I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. I'm not a chauvinist. Like, but really chauvinist just kind of means, it's like an extreme, what would it say? A person displaying aggressive or exaggerated patriotism, which that doesn't even, I don't know. There's just, you can't get a straight definition here. Not from either one. There's subtle enough differences. That's not even one of the words I wanted to look up anyway. What was another one? I want to look up a capitalist. That's the one I want to look up. Capitalist in DuckDuckGo versus capitalist. Should we do capitalism?
Yeah.
Let's do capitalism.
Yeah, let's do capitalism.
Because they're showing a supporter of capitalism. So let's go capitalism. DuckDuckGo. Capitalism. That was from Wikipedia. I'm not doing Wikipedia. That's not a definition site. Fuck Wikipedia. Okay, and if anybody ever sends me a damn Wikipedia site as citing a source, I will take that page, crumple it up, and shove it up your ass. Okay? Capitalism let's just do the same like we've been doing in order from Google first. Capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. Okay, synonyms are private enterprise, free enterprise, private ownership, privatized industries, the free market, individualism, laissez-faire. Antonyms are communism. And just to be clear, okay, no, just to be clear, but I do find it interesting that some people try to argue that capitalism and the free market are different, but even if you go by Google's definition, you see they're synonymous with one another.
Right.
All right, so we go over here to DuckDuckGo's version, which is from Merriam-Webster again. This one, again, is from Oxford. Seems like Google pulls most of their definitions from Oxford. I have seen otherwise, but most of the time it's Oxford. Definition of capitalism is an economic system characterized by private or corporate ownership of capital goods, by investments that are determined by private decision, and by prices, production, and by the distribution of goods that are determined mainly by competition in a free market.
Nothing about owners for profit rather than by state, which is rather interesting.
Controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state.
Mm-hmm. That almost seems like they're wanting to put that out there, is that it's bad for it to be it's bad to be capitalism.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it kind of sounds
so
like.
so this I mean, it is true, but the way the way it's worded does kind of make you seem, because a lot of people, especially on the left, will hear the words for profit and automatically equate that to they're doing something bad, or they're exploiting people, or they're doing they're doing something. So it is important that that phrase is in there on the Google one. It's interesting that it's not on the Merriam-Webster version, and it really bums me out because I can't find my big dictionary that I had before. I had a big paper actual physical dictionary.
I have a big dictionary.
That was way too long of a pause. I thought for sure you were just going to leave it there. All right. Yeah. That's
The play on words between the two, it is interesting. It kind of that when you have a play on words, and if you know of anybody that has, the things I've written before in the past, you would be considered a wordsmith. So you have a way of going about expressing your thoughts through your words, meaning that if I can sit here and read this to you, that makes it sound, in my eyes and in my opinion, that sounds bad. You know what I'm saying?
Just something about the way it's written sounds
way
like it's
worded
in a negative connotation,
right?
That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's not coming down on
that.
Google. It's just when you read it, you kind of have that overall sense that it just doesn't sound good, So
yeah. Oh, stop clicking, doofus. All right. I want to see. I was curious this what it says about.
Hey, put in porn.
Put in porn.
Yeah, just put in porn. Fuck it.
I'm not having that pop up in my feed.
Wait, didn't we do a show or a skit?
No, that'll pop up. That'll
the
pop
Google
up
guy.
more than what I'm actually anticipating here. All right, what are some other terms here? I'm just curious here. Let's see what it says about Antifa. Okay. Antifa. Let's see. On Google, Antifa is a political protest movement comprising autonomous groups affiliated by their militant opposition to fascism and other forms of extreme right-wing ideology. First of all, fascism wasn't a right-wing ideology. Okay. And over here on DuckDuckGo, Antifa comes up with some articles from Vice, Salon, Fox News. Top stories over here from Stratford Worldview, Indiana Daily Student, Waging Nonviolent, no-name sources. What? But it does give me a dictionary definition. That's interesting. What is Antifa? CNN. Urban Dictionary, Antifa. Okay, here we go. Antifa. Merriam. That's the first legitimate dictionary entry. So this one's pretty cut and dry. Oh, this is interesting too. I didn't think I would find anything interesting here, but I am. On DuckDuckGo's version, which takes us again to Merriam-Webster, the definition of Antifa is a person or group actively opposing fascism. That makes sense. Yeah, we're anti-fascism. Mm-hmm. We're a person or group actively opposing fascism. End of definition. End of definition. There's a second definition is an anti-fascist movement. I mean, yeah, simple. However, Google's definition from Oxford adds on the additional part and other forms of extreme right-wing ideology. Now,
that's not pushing towards inciting any kind of violence or...
That is interesting. That's the difference. Just pulling them up, and I'm almost wondering if I wasn't logged in with my profile, if the definitions would be still different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's just for shits and giggles, let's see Proud Boys.
Proud Boys. All right, I can handle that. Proud Boys in Google, and here we go. Proud Boys Antifa. Sorry, Proud Boys in DuckDuckGo. All right, so if both of them bring up as the top, we got news stories right up top. They're different. They're different news sources, both of them, that comes up. All right, we got first entry is a Wikipedia entry, which would be the same because it's both linked to the same website. Wikipedia, Wiki Proud Boys. Yep, those are both linked to the same thing. So I'm not seeing I don't think we're gonna find a dictionary definition of this because this is a group.
Right.
But it is showing Wikipedia first up. Proud Boys from the Southern Poverty Law Center. This.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Google. Let's just make sure for the listening audience they know what we're. So this one here has Proud Boys Southern Poverty Law Center, Proud Boys Huffington Post, Rolling Stone, Proud Boys hashtag on Twitter, The Atlantic, and then about the fifth or sixth result we see ProudBoyUSA.com.
So there's not really any kind of definition of the Proud Boys on either side.
Well, what I'm looking at now, no, there's not really going to be a definition, but what I'm looking at is the sources. The 10th result is the New York Times. So it's like all of the sources tend to be left-leaning, except for the one right here, which was the actual Proud Boys, which you would think if you're typing in Proud Boys that you're looking for information on the Proud Boys, and you would probably want to see that up toward the top. So if we go over to the DuckDuckGo version, the first result is the wiki version, which makes sense because Wikipedia's got so much link juice, it's ridiculous.
But then if you notice, it's the Proud Boys magazine.
The very second result is officialproudboys.com. The third result is proudboysusa.com. Fourth result is officialproudboys.com. You go to the ADL.com, which I'm not sure. Is that...
So
what's
we
the
get all
ADL?
this. We get all these results, and then finally we get down to the more of the left leaning. It's kind of what it looks like here.
Yeah, most of the ones that come up in DuckDuckGo would be more in line with, if I'm looking up information on the Proud Boys, this is the kind of things I would expect to see. You know, some websites that are Proud Boys. What are they talking about? What are they about? But over here, it takes me almost to the end of the page before I even see that. Most people don't make it past the first three results. So you're going to see Huffington Post, Southern Poverty Law Center, and Wiki. That's what you're going to see.
So if that's the first thing that you pull up and you're basing your information on, I would encourage you to go over to DuckDuckGo and see what pulls up first. And just to see the difference between the two, it's kind of interesting. It really is.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Oddly enough, it's not very often I spend time perusing
because you can actually use
dictionaries.
these as screenshots and you can make memes out of these. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's crazy.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let me see if I can. Hang on one second. Control minus. There we go. Let's screenshot that. Let me minus on this one too a little bit. So, yeah. All right, make them about the same size. We'll get us a nice little screenshot.
Now, for any common sense individual, I don't care if you're on the left or the right, you can see the difference between the two.
There's definitely some kind of
it really has to stop and make you wonder.
bias going here.
You know, yeah, exactly. Oh shit, Planned Parenthood. Somebody told me it was a black woman that just took over Planned Parenthood. Or I don't think somebody told me. I think I read that somewhere.
I have no idea. All right, so Planned Parenthood, you bring it up. Let's see. Google gives us the PlannedParenthood.org official site, and so does DuckDuckGo, first result. Now that's what I would expect to find. Interesting how when you type in a leftist type cause, you tend to get the exact results that you would actually expect to find in a normal search engine result.
Right.
We got the Planned Parenthood Twitter account, the PlannedParenthoodAction.org. So that one might be an anti-Planned Parenthood one there. Third result. Like, I would expect to see this in a normal search. This is the Planned Parenthood wiki, their Facebook page. Actually, I think, again, DuckDuckGo even has this one more correct. Because, again, like for example, if I type in my organization's now, Unframe of Mind, I'm going to get,
Nothing.
like on a DuckDuckGo search, which I've done this
We're not
before.
popular enough to have
No, I've done this before, and I'll go through here, and every one is a podcast we've done. Excuse me, it's a podcast we've done, or it's our show links, or it's our sex contract, or I can go down quite a few results before it's not about us. That makes sense to me. So when I do that same thing with Planned Parenthood, that's
Have you ever Googled yourself?
kind of what I would expect. Yeah, but I my name's so common I can never find myself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I put in my name for the first time. This was like a few weeks ago, and there are so many pictures and videos and shit that I've done over the years with charity work and stuff like that.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do Anthony Trawick
Pull
for
up images.
Google. Anthony Trawick for
Now go under images.
DuckDuckGo. Images on both.
I keep scrolling down.
Man, I don't see you at all. Oh, there you are.
Well, there's Unframe of Mind up there. Unframe
Oh,
of Mind.
oh, yeah, there it is.
My YouTube
Where?
handle. Go down.
Oh,
Right there. Nashville Predators. That's my YouTube handle. There's my article. There's the show.
oh, nice.
Keep going down.
So this is on Google we're looking at right now.
And then the one we did, the taking off the political blinders, keep going down. And then there was one where I did the,
Well, at least I'm typing your name into there when I post these things.
right. And
Coming
then
up.
when I did
we
the,
had to scrub these for somebody else.
when I actually did the Hurricane Harvey relief efforts, and there's the Heart of Tennessee. That was an organization I started up, and then Allison Vaughn. I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff on there that I didn't even know that I was even that, I guess, not related to Google, but just even, I would even show up. I'm not even on DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo just
It's all sports
is
figures.
denying your existence. Oh, look at there.
No,
The first
it's-
picture that have anything to do with us is a picture of
Right.
me under your name.
But I think Google has been tracking us for some time. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. And somebody asked me if I've ever done that before, and I said no. And then I happened to Google my name, and it was pretty interesting. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, mine, like I said, mine is such a common name, especially worldwide, that I have actually thought about going ahead and changing my name to something more unique, just so I can pop up in results. There's nothing.
No.
Like, I could go down 300 results, and you ain't finding shit on me. Lots of Daniel Wagner's, though.
And you would think with your show and with the website, with the videos,
Yeah,
something would pop up.
Let's go and see if we got the same.
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me I'm on DuckDuckGo and on Google, and you ain't on either one of them?
Nope. Well, I mean, I'm on there, I'm sure, but you probably
no.
you probably got to scroll down 1,000 results. There's just it's such a common name.
But when somebody mentioned that to me, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I didn't think about this, but they must have Googled me.
Who?
That person that told me.
Oh my God! Look, I'm on DuckDuckGo.
Holy shit! That's from like 10 years ago.
That was from a Parent of Progress.
Wow.
That was an old site that I had. Oh boy. All right.
Hey, at
so
least you're on there.
let's remember we got an audience that's listening to this. I'm sorry, guys. That was
We got sidetracked.
totally unrelated to anything of the show. All right. Is there any other terms you want to look up? I wanted to look. Nationalism was another one. I wanted. How about free speech?
Or hate speech, or see how it's
Let's do
defined.
hate speech. Let's do hate speech. I like that. Web of hate speech. Hey, at least I'm able to type tonight. That's great. All right, looks like both of them. Well, wait a minute. We got a dictionary definition of hate speech on, of course we do, on Google.
You know, it's funny because I'm sitting here reading this, And then I'm thinking hate speech. It says abusive or threatening speech or writing that expresses prejudice against a particular group, especially
On the basis,
or on the basis of race, religion, and sexual orientation.
right?
Isn't the left notorious for doing that?
Let's see. Abusive or threatening speech or writing that expresses prejudice against
You've never heard Antifa
So
talk
let's-
about the cops and kill the cops.
a particular group. Yeah. A particular group could be cops, could be white people, could be the elites.
Yeah,
I think everybody agrees the elites are a bunch of douchebags.
right.
And yet we fight with each other. Never even occurs to anybody that
So
they might be the problem.
basically, there's two groups going at each other, inciting the same thing, and I don't think anybody realizes that they're doing it.
So hate
So,
speech.
and I'm not talking about specifically the Proud Boys and Antifa, but just in general. That could be Black Lives Matter. I mean, that could be anybody.
All right, on DuckDuckGo, the first definition that comes up is from dictionary.com. It says hate speech definition is speech that attacks, threatens, or insults a person or group on the basis of national origin, ethnicity, color, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or disability. Well, at least y'all covered up all the different ways you can offend somebody.
I just remember a time where you could, back when we were kids, you could poke fun of each other and say hateful things. Man, you built a tough skin. You built a thick skin. And as we got older, we kind of ignored it. Now it seems to me that, we have to label everything as that either hate speech or whatever. And now that it's kind of like, well, we can't do that anymore. And,
Well,
it's interesting how times have changed.
I'm okay with the term hate speech. I'm okay with it because, just the term by itself doesn't do anything. It's when you try to start codifying it into law that it becomes a problem.
Yeah, that's when it becomes a problem.
Like that's when people start having to really be able to define what hate speech is.
I mean, hate
And
speech
it's
could
hard
be
because-
racist or anything of that nature, towards an individual. It's calling, just racial slurs and things of that nature. I get that. I understand what hate speech is. But
it's really hard though to define it in terms of actually convicting somebody. If that became codified into law.
well, the
hate
problem
speech was
is
illegal.
hate speech is thrown around so much these days, kind of
Yeah.
like the word Nazi and racism and things of that nature. You can't really pinpoint what's what, and that's where it gets kind of confusing for people. Everybody wants to throw these words around, and they don't understand that there's a significant definition behind what you're saying. And you don't know if that other person's racist. You don't know if that other person is, this, that, or the other. So it's like, for the individuals that want to label or quickly label you as something, it's not cool to do. It's just not.
All right, so free speech on Google, the definition is another term for freedom of speech. Okay, so let's click that. Freedom of speech is the right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint.
Yeah, well, fuck you. Because
So check that out. In order to get that definition, you had to make an additional click, right?
Okay.
That's interesting. Over here on DuckDuckGo, when I look up free speech, if I go down to the definition, the first one's going to be Merriam-Webster again. So I'm going to click Merriam-Webster, and it says speech that is protected by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Which is right.
Also, the right to such speech. That's it.
So you didn't have to click on another
No, I
link
didn't.
just to get
Yeah,
there.
they didn't say free speech is another form of freedom of speech. What did it say? Hold on. It said free on Google. It said free speech is another term for freedom of speech. Like, why do you? Okay, why do we got to go the rigmarole? Just tell me what free speech is, and then do like the other terms you did, and give me freedom of speech as a synonym for free speech. Dumbasses.
But then over here, it tells you that it's speeches that protected by the First Amendment. To the
Right.
US
I mean, it actually
Constitution,
gives
so-
you search results.
Right.
And then you can go click on, oh, this is a dictionary definition right here. We'll click it and see what it says. Like, as you would expect a search engine to work. Now, I know this is kind of seemed like a big, huge commercial for DuckDuckGo. And who knows, maybe we can get some sponsorship on this down the road. That would be great. But
Well, it's
that
just to
being
show the
said,
difference of where we're at societal wise when it comes to things of that nature.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So that being said, man, I would recommend using DuckDuckGo just because you're not going to get the biased leanings of Google as a major corporation. Also, they don't sit there and track your information. You're not going to get a bunch of search results based on what Google thinks you might want to see or what DuckDuckGo thinks you might want to see based on your search.
Right.
Like, I don't want to search for something that I'm trying to learn about and have it try to guess what aspects of that thing I want to know about. No, just give me the search results that are the most popular or the most, whatever, the most linked or the most, commented on or whatever. However you do it, I don't really give a shit. Just make it so it's not so it's leaning one way or the other. I don't want that. I just want some straight up results and then let me be the judge. Like,
yeah.
So anyway.
There
we
real
go
quick
again.
before we go, if anybody needs to get in touch with me, hit me up on Telegram, or I guess you can send me a Facebook message. Just send me your cell phone number, and I can text you. But as of right now, I can't respond back to anything. So
Yep, you got about 5 more days or something, right?
6
Sunday?
days.
6 days?
Yeah, it all started yesterday. At 3
Oh, it was
o'clock,
yesterday,
so-
wasn't it? Why did I feel like it was Sunday? No, it was yesterday. That's right.
Yep.
My week's blending together.
So if you can, just send me a Facebook message. I can't respond back to it. Just drop in your cell phone number, and I'll shoot you a text. You can reach me on Telegram. I'm on there. That's pretty much it, man. I hate the fact that we kind of have to depend on social media to be able to contact individuals,
Right.
but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
Yep,
So,
and I'm working on coming up with backups for all of this. We've already got alternative sources. If you want to see what we have going on at any given time, just head on over to our website, unframedmind.com/find. Now let me make sure I type it right. Us on. Yep. I need to simplify that URL, I'm sure, but that's okay. Anyway, if you find us there, unframedmind.com/find-us-on. I have created a entire list of all of our other social media channels we're on.
what do we do
all
with
of
my
our-
Twitter account?
All of our all of our video channels. They may or may not work by the time you get to them. All of our podcasts. So we do have backups. I'm working on a Telegram one right now. It'll actually be a group that we'll have as a backup in case the Facebook group gets shut down. I mean, as long as they're shutting down individual accounts, there's still other moderators that can operate the page or the group, so that's okay.
Right.
Anyway, so this has been a fantastic week. Lots of fun, interesting shit going on.
It's been a very unusual 72 hours for us. So it's
definitely.
Hopefully,
We fully expected it.
We knew it was coming. We knew the chances we took with having Enrique on the show, and it's nothing against him. It's the price you pay.
The hell it ain't. I
Uh,
blame Enrique 100%, 120%. Matter of fact, you know what, motherfucker? You come on our show again, we'll probably just talk to you again. So,
and then we'll get another 7 days.
Until next time,
Peace.
this has been another episode of the Unframe of Mind Show.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind Show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.